Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode on deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Hope everybody's having a great night. As you saw, we're going to be on the going over some contenders, some pretenders, some hot starts, teams that maybe push themselves in the World Series, could be in the World Series conversation. Definitely some ace watch. We had some good games earlier today, as there was some games this afternoon. Three players trending in the right direction. Three players that are not trending, trending down. A couple exciting stats of the week. A couple good matchups we got this week, and talk about some pitching. Pitching is the dominance back, but as you've seen on our header, I guess we're talking about the Orioles. It's kind of my fault on that. I was creating it, the title, my segments, and I was just trying to get the right wording down. And I sent it to Bobby, and Baltimore was on the bottom of it, and I didn't want to put Baltimore there, but I'll talk about Baltimore. That's fine with Baltimore. Because I will talk about Baltimore Orioles, why they can be contenders. I don't think they're, contenders for anything, especially until they get Holiday. But they do have a young, dangerous lineup, power and depth. I think it's really going to come down to Alonso can figure it out and win whenever Ian Jackson Holiday back, which I don't know the timeline on that injury, but I mean, Pete Alonso 198, so he's going to have to figure it out for them. I mean, they could score in bunches. They got power, and they got a lot of bats. Still young core. Offense is improving, not declining. They have ascended talent. They're back to 500 now. They're not getting blown out, but I mean, I don't see them in the same conversation as the Yankees in the AL, or now we got the Dodgers and the surprising Atlanta Braves, which looking forward to next week to talk more about the Braves. But reasons I don't think they'll be contenders for even the AL East. Could be tough for a wild card. The rotation isn't trustworthy, very inconsistent. No clear shutdown ace on that pitching staff. Rogers is a good pitcher. Was it Trevor Rogers, excuse me. I mean, he's 3-0 on the year, 1.475 ERA. He's not a clear ace. And the other guy, Kyle Bradish, 3-0 on the year, but his ERA is 4.2. So, I mean, those two guys at the top don't really scare you. Shane Baez, who's their pickup, 4.5 ERA. So there's no true ace. Really matters, especially in September. Comes down to to get into October. When the bats are hot, they're elite. When they're cold, they are cold. They can lose. And the AL East, even though it's down right now with the Red Sox, who just lost Alex Cora, fired Alex Cora, and Red Boston legend Jason Varitek, I still see them figuring it out. They got too much talent to. In my opinion, to be this bad. And you got the Blue Jays, who just made the World Series. I think they end up figuring out they have a lot of injuries right now, but because the AL East, and you got the Rays, who are a tough out, even though don't have a big, they're number one. It's not good. Alonso's been average at bat. Bradish has number one stuff, but I don't think he's gonna. They don't scare me. I didn't see the Rogers news. We kind of backed up and talking to the Orioles, but I don't know how long Holiday's out. think they got a good young core, but the pitching, especially when you get into JB, thanks for tuning in. Always when you get into September, going into October, and those dog days, their pitching doesn't scare me. Rogers, 3-0, and both 3-0 on the year. Bradish, Rogers, but high ERAs. AL East is tough. I don't see the Red Sox struggling like this all year. I think they're just too talented. I think Baltimore's going to start Toronto's going to start getting a lot of pitching back and figuring it out. Obviously, Yankees, we know my opinion on the offense, but I think that's the best pitching staff in baseball with the best 1-2 punch right now in baseball, which there's a lot of good 1-2 punches, but Fried Schlittler is definitely the best 1-2 punch. And I think the Rays, even though they don't have the payroll, they're a scrappy team with some scrappy players. Orioles done, Yankees doing what they're doing without Cole Rendon. Barring Mange, I really like what they're doing. We'll see what Cole does coming back from Tommy John. Will it take him a full another year to get back into, with the Tommy John's injuries is interesting, players coming back from that because they are getting a new ligament. So, a guy like me, my ligament here is nice worn down from all years playing baseball, but we'll see how he comes back. Will he come back like Sandy did in the first half and kind of struggled to get into form? So we'll see how Cole comes back. Fried has been amazing. Schlittler, who thank God the Yankees didn't, he was the Pirates gave the Yankees an offer for Skeens, and Schlittler was in there. Thank God they didn't, because he's looking like just as good, right up there with Skeens. In my opinion, I don't think they have the starting pitching, the depth to get it done, to compete in the East. But I mean, as you see right now, to the first month of the season, the AL is looking not very strong. I mean, you've got the Yankees. I mean, the AL Central, you've got two teams at 500. The AL West, you've got one team over 500. I don't see. Honestly, I could see three teams from the AL East getting those wild cards. The way it's looking right now for the first month of the season. But I mean, I think the Orioles could have the offense to figure it out. I just don't think they have the pitching to get it done, especially in a tough AL East. But I mean, definitely a World Series contender, and obviously the Dodgers are the first one. And I mean, lost today. If anybody got to see that game, I know it was an early start. And I know my producer was happy with it because the Dodgers lost the series to the Marlins. But if anybody did see that matchup, Marlins won 3-2 on a very interesting bases loaded, 1 out. Freddie Freeman grounded the ball out to Xavier Edwards at second, and Shohei Ohtani ran back. He ended up tagging him out so that the runner, even though Hassan Kim did cross, it wouldn't have mattered, but they called Shohei Ohtani out of the baseline. So it would have been like, it was a forced double play. But I mean, that's a big 2 losses, but I mean, they're 20-11, and they're getting, I mean, and their ace, World Series MVP, Yamamoto is 2-2 on the year with a 2.87 ERA. I think he figures it out. Tyler Glasnow is a guy, had another solid start today, even though he got the no decision. Glasnow, 5 2/3. I think that's always kind of been Glasnow's problem, is his pitch count has always been high, not to get deeper in games. It's always been his problem for Glasnow ever since he came over from the Rays. 5 2/3, kept them at 2 runs. But I mean, I wouldn't have bet my life on the Dodgers pitching staff right now. The leader in the clubhouse with 4 wins and a 1.5 ERA would be Justin Warbowski. I would have not said that. I mean, you're getting, Shohei Ohtani 2-1 pitching. He's got a .60 ERA, and you're going to get Blake Snell back at some point. So, I mean, they're definitely there. The other team is the Braves. They're first team to 20 wins. Excuse me. Let me go back. First team to 20 wins, and they're 21-9. Definitely a surprising team. I want to talk about that next week when we do our my monthly segment I'm trying to do at the start of every month, talking about a couple hot teams, a couple surprising teams, a couple teams that are down next week. So hopefully they're still hot. Yeah, but I mean 21-9. I wouldn't have guessed at the beginning of the year that the Braves would be 6-7 games up basically, and the two teams in the basement are the Phillies and the Mets, and both probably going to be dealing with some manager firings here soon if it keeps going the way the Mets are going. That team is god awful. The Mets, and obviously the Phillies just fired their manager. But, I mean, they're looking legit on the pitching staff. Elder, 3-1, 1.95 ERA. Chris Sale, 5-1, 2.31 ERA. Grant Holmes, 2-1. But they're doing it with, a number of guys on the, Ulus Schwellenbach on the number of pitching injuries. I mean, you've got rookie of the year Drake Baldwin, who's following it up, 3.01. He's got a 377 on base, 504 slugging. Ozzie Albies, 316, 359 on base, 513 slugging. Matt Olson, 299. He's got 8 home runs on the year. And Ronald Acuna, only 248. And you got Matthew Durbin, 282. When Acuna figures it out, what he can do, this team could be scary. Michael Harris right now, 320. With that pitching, I think their pitching staff's a little thin, but this Braves team is scary. Doing it with Chris Sale, who's been phenomenal since he came over from the Red Sox to the Braves. And the NL East is looking very weak right now after the first month of the season. So the next team, Cubs, 19-12, looking good. I think they hit a little bump when they played the Dodgers. And then last team, I'm going to talk about next week because I'm loving what the Reds are doing, because I also love Terry Francona. Even though he was a Red Sox manager, I love me some Tito. The guy is just an old school baseball manager that I wish we had more nowadays. I love me some Tito. But, I mean, the Yankees, 20-11? They won 11 of the last 13. Pitching has looked legit with Max Fried, with Cam Schlittler, who's thrown 2 complete games in a row without surrendering a run. We'll talk about the injuries in a little bit. Aaron Judge is figuring it out finally. Didn't do much offensively today with the debut of pitcher Omar Rodriguez Cruz pitched today. But, I mean, Judge, he's up to 252 with 12 home runs, leads the MLB. Jazz Chisholm drives me absolutely nuts, but he plays a good defensive second base, but his bat drives me nuts. And he's batting 202. Cody Bellinger, 241. Jose Caballero, 267. I wonder what happens in the near future with the Yankees coming back, because they do love Anthony Volpe and he's coming back. But I think Caballero just does too much on that team. He drives people crazy on the base path. He works walks. I don't know what they're going to do, and he plays good defense. He can't take his bat out of the lineup. I mean, and then you've got Ben Rice, 327, 430, 443 on base, 714 slugging. He's got, 10 home runs on the year. They do have some holes, though, but I mean, and the pitching's look dominant. Max Fried, 4-1 on the year. He's got a 2.09 ERA. Cam Schlittler, 1.51 ERA, and he's 4-1 on the year. Will Warren, 3-0 in the year, 2.51 ERA. Ryan Weathers, 3.21 ERA. He's 1-2, but he hasn't got much run support. So I think it'll be interesting what's going to happen when Cole and Rodon come back. They also sent Luis Heel down to the minors. But talking about teams that are looking terrible right now, and unless something changes, they are going to be sitting home in October, and what they say, they'll be in Cancun early. Starting it off with the Phillies, who was and right now is looking terrible. It was my selection to beat the Dodgers because to be the Dodgers' biggest competition in the NL, and that's the Phillies. Right now, they fired their manager. Rob Thompson just got fired, but Jesus Luzardo, who was phenomenal last year, he's got a 5.50 ERA. Christopher Sanchez, 2.94 ERA. He's giving you elite stuff, but he's only 2-2. Aaron Nola, 1-3 on the year with the 6.03 ERA. Andrew Painter, 5.25 ERA. You released Taijuan Walker. This team's got to figure something out because their window is starting to close and close fast. And then, obviously, you stay in the basement of the NL East, and that's the Mets. Biggest disappointing, the pitching is shaky. The pitching's really shaky. I mean, you add Freddie Peralta, but he hasn't done much. You've got Clay Holmes, 3-2. He's got the 1.75 ERA, best on the team. Noah McLean, 2.55 ERA. He's 1-2, though. Freddie Peralta, 1-3. He's got a 3.9 ERA. I mean, Senga, before he went on, had a 9 ERA. And I mean, it's Carlos Mendoza the next guy to go? And then the Red Sox, consistency, struggling, and they fire Alex Cora, 12-18 on the year. Obviously, this happened earlier today, but I was highlighting Tyler Glasnow was facing the Marlins. He's 3-0. He was 2.45 ERA before the day. He had 38 Ks, high strikeout ceiling. I guess I'm wrong because I put some betting stuff in there, but I made this before the game. Sandy Alcantara, went against the Dodgers. What did he end up doing against the Dodgers? What was his final line? 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 Ks. So pretty good, a quality start. Drew Rasmussen going up. He's undefeated today. Undefeated, 2.45 ERA. Faces a Cleveland team. The offense has been struggling. It's a safe betting play if you're into that. Tarek Skubal, 2.72 ERA, 38 Ks, facing a tough Braves team, and then you got Christopher Sanchez going today, 2.94 ERA, 43 Ks, solid strikeout numbers. For some injuries, we do have a couple big injuries. Max Muncy from the AL West leading A's right now, 10-day IL after hit by pitch, no clear timeline. Garrett Crochet, shoulder inflammation. He was placed on the 15-day IL. And then Max Scherzer was on the IL with forearm and ankle issues. So big names. Giancarlo Stanton, calf strain. He's out to early May. Francisco Lindor, calf injury. He's out till June. Kodai Senga with the Mets, back injury, out till June. And then JT Realmuto out till June. as well with the back injury. Out short-term IL stint. Eugenio Suarez, he's expected to be back in early May with an oblique strain. Mets, Jorge Polanco got wrist injury. Torino hand injury. They don't get no timetable. The big one was Edwin Diaz right now is injured and should be out for a while. He was diagnosed with loose bodies in the right elbow, small bone and cartilage fragments in the joint. The Dodgers placed him on the injured list April 20th. He is undergoing elbow surgery to clean it up. Timetable expected to be around 3 months, so likely return is the second half. The 3 players are really up right now. I could speak about Elly De La Cruz. He just had 4 RBIs. He continues to flash elite power and speed. When he gets hot, he carries the ball. He's heating up offensively, and after a streaky start. Aaron Judge, he did homer in 3 straight games, still near the top of the MLB in slugging metrics. Early in the season, leads the MLB in home runs. Locked in power surge, that's just classic Judge. And then you got Yordan Alvarez, who Yordan right now, 11 home runs, among the leaders in hits, RBIs, and on-base percentage. Quietly putting a dominant bat in baseball. And let me get Yordan, 355, 11 home runs, 26 RBIs. If you're big into OPS, of 1199 OPS. Just a dominant bat in baseball, consistent elite production. De La Cruz, explosive breakout games. Judge, a power spike with the home run streak. And Alvarez, steady elite production. I'm wondering what anybody's out there thinking. Astros right now in the basement, 11 and 19. What are the Astros going to do with Yordan Alvarez with 2 years remaining on his deal when the trade deadline comes around? Because there's a lot of playoff teams that could use Yordan Alvarez's back, because he's not just flashing the power numbers. This guy's giving you a lead on base, OPS, RBI numbers. So I'm wondering what happens there with the Astros at 11-19 right now, 4.5 back. But the AL West is very wide open. I mean, who would have thought the Athletics would have been in first place right now? 3 players that are struggling, and he's starting to pick it up a little bit, would be Julio Rodriguez. 254, picking it up after a slow start. Power numbers were missing. He at one point he's got 2 power numbers are missing. He's got 2 home runs, 12 RBIs. A very slow start. He does start slow, but this year's been more than usual. The other one would be Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh on the year, strikeouts on the year, 41 strikeouts on the year, massive power decline. Concern for me is kind of high. This guy had elite production. We saw him in the World Baseball Classic do just nothing. And he's 192, 41 strikeouts, only 7 home runs. So that's a little jump, but a massive power decline. Is a high. This guy is a big fall off from elite production we saw last year. And then the Bo Bichette, I think, in my opinion, I think the defense is definitely leaking into his offense. Bichette, 237, leads the team in batting average, but that's not saying much because he leads the team at 237. That's really, really poor. It really shows you what the Mets are going through right now. If you're the guy who leads the team in with most qualifying at bats is Bo Bichette at 237. very underperforming hitter. Ranks at the bottom in the MLB. Struggling defense, struggling dysfunctional offense. Medium to high conserve. I mean, he's Bobichet, 237 playing third, 27 strikeouts, 2 home runs on the year. This guy put up big power numbers in Toronto. 276 on base, 331 slugging. I think the defense is starting to leak into his offense. He was never a great defensive player, but I think it's definitely hurting. He's not a good was never a great defensive player, but I think is starting to leak into his offense. One stat of the week I want to dive into, very interesting. Murutaka Murakami, historic power star. And I want to get into that because I have some and surprise. Hey, I will say surprising because this isn't up. Very surprising on the White Sox news. They're 14-17, but Murakami 12 home runs on the year, so he's tied with Judge. 236, 375 on base, 564 slugging. Historic power start. 10 home runs in his first 24 games. That's the most of any Japanese-born player ever in that span. He also had a 5 home run streak, tying the MLB rookie home run record. He outperformed Shohei Ohtani as a rookie. It's an early power pace. Doing this as a rookie, adjusting to MLB pitching, extremely rare. This is a historic level of production. I'm very excited to see because one of his knocks on Murakami coming in is he might not be able to handle the MLB speed. And obviously, he's handling it fine. One of the knocks on him, and probably the reason he went to the White Sox on such a short-term deal, was because of some of the bad reports of him not being able to hit pitches over 93. He was struggling with that, so they didn't think his transition to the MLB would be as good. He would struggle in the MLB, but he has shown he can handle it. He's still got the power numbers, which sometimes if you see some of these players come over from Japan, the power numbers come down. I always remember being a Yankees fan. Hideki Matsui came over and he put up big power numbers in Japan, expecting the same thing. Now, Hideki Matsui, but great guy, gap to gap, a lot of doubles, but he didn't have the same power numbers when he came over from Japan. What was his nickname? Godzilla. But I mean, this guy's on a historic pace. He's definitely been able to handle the MLB pitching, and it looks like he's never going to have has not really had a problem so far to start the year. I mean, I think you're going to still see those high strikeout numbers, but in today's baseball, you take the strikeouts with his power surge. Couple games, interesting games, not the best slate this weekend, but you've got some games. You've got a clash, Orioles, Yankees, AL East clash, power bats on both sides. We'll see what they do, but I mean, both have some bullpen. Yankees definitely have some bullpen drama, but it could be a classic heavyweight fight. If Alonso gets going, the guy can change a game in the swing of the bat. Dodgers Cardinals, even though it's not the high upside game, Dodgers elite roster from top to bottom, and the Cardinals display a well managed team. And then you got Astros Red Sox. Astros offense led by Alvarez. Fenway environment, and this is going to be the second series without score. I want to know anybody's got a comment on there. Who do we think the next manager? Those are just some games, not the best slate this weekend. No really big high-profile games this weekend. Orioles, Yankees, Diamondbacks, Cubs, Reds, Pirates could be interesting depending on what day we get the matchup because they're right there in the NL Central. But Phillies, Marlins, not much going on. Not a lot of great matchups. I want to check the Red Series. What do we got? Keller, Singer. Keller's been looking decent. Louder, Sunday. Braxton Ashford, Chase Burns. That should be a good matchup. That's one I'm watching. Braxton Ashford. I think Skeens and Axford are one of the best one too. I mean, he's not getting the run. He's that's going to be a good one. And Chase Burns with the young guys 265 on the year. I just want to know who I think, in my opinion, anybody out there, the next coach fired Carlos Mendoza if the Mets the way they're going. But just a few things. I see this week. Getting ready the weekend. We're a month and a couple days over. A month and a couple days into the season. Just a quick rundown of the games today. If you have not been watching, so a lot of more early slate games because it was Wednesday. Cubs beat the Pirates Padres 5-4. Marlins beat the Dodgers 3-2. Won that series for all those people in Miami. Thank you. Blue Jays 8-1 over the Red Sox. Mariners 5-3 over the Twins. White Sox 3-2 over the Angels. Guardians 3-1 over the Rays. Rangers 3-0 over the Yankees. Diamondbacks right now down 1. Brewers up 1-0 over the Diamondbacks in the second. Tigers Braves 3-2 in the bottom of the third. Nationals up 2-1 on the Mets. Cardinals up 3-0 on the Pirates. And the Reds, Rockies up 5-0, which I will say, and I've mentioned it, surprising. Rockies actually are putting up a little fight. They're not the rollover team, that they've been in years past. Yes, 13-17, but not really rollover team. But want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight for another episode of On Deck here on FTSN. I'm Russ Morgan. Hope everyone has a great night